wonderful in that movie. Lock escalation disabled. This was really interesting because I never disable lock escalation. It's not even something that I think to look for. And I love that Stephen said that we should warn people when it is disabled when we're looking at blocking problems. So let's see here. I'm going to pull the original issue so that you can see the specs for it. And so I'll zoom in and let you read that. Well, I won't zoom in that far because I'll let you read through that there. And that's so smart. I'm like, well, I never, and sure enough, he did want to code that and went through the heroic work of getting through GitHub for the first time because it's a giant pain in the rear to deal with pull requests. So with pull requests, so first, like I always want to only take pull requests if I understand what the code does. Hell, I don't even disable lock escalation. So this is going to be a new adventure for all of us. What I'm going to do is I'm going to first take his pull request, take the code from the pull request and see if it just works. Because sometimes people submit code and it doesn't even compile. So I'm going to try to run it. And I'm going to see what happens when I disable lock escalation, just to see. I don't even remember how to disable lock escalation. So the way I'll start with it is over on Files Changed. So here it shows the changes of his code as opposed to the pull requests on. Yeah, they usually don't. That's why I try to use a silent keyboard because I'm taking notes the whole time I'm on client calls. So it looks like he edited the version number. I actually don't want that. We keep on the old. Yeah, right. I remember there's a blogger who was like, in the future, we'll use voice to interact with SQL Server. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's cool because you would never accidentally drop a table based on what some stupid voice assistant says. So I'm going to reject the change around, just the change on version numbers. One of the things I love about this is you can actually edit this source code in here. So if I see something that I don't like, it's not that I don't like, but I don't want to change the version numbers in the dev branch until we're really ready for release. So I don't know when they changed this, but it's 6 months ago or so. You can edit the file right here. Oh, I love this. So let's say over here in the version number, I'm just going to revert this back to 798. And this was, I want to say 0808, because I think we did the kick drum release. I don't know if anyone caught that. I was very proud of that. So there are my changes. Dragon, naturally speaking. I did that too. SP Blitz index, reverting version number. Whoops. So this is a brand new keyboard, so I type like a hot. It's a mess right now. Version changes. I totally understand why you changed the version number and date, but we leave those as is until we're ready for release. Just making this change to start working on your pull request. And then commit. So now I've changed just that because that wasn't a good fit for the changes that we want. Now I'm back to his, damn, GitHub is good. So now I'm back to the difference. As soon as I edited that change, it's back to, same thing with putting it in a webcast. Like if I say right now, hey Siri, play the Backstreet Boys. You're welcome. Alexa, play New Kids on the Block. Now watch my Echo over in my bathroom pick that up. Yes, I have an Echo in my bathroom. It's not like a metaphorical kind of thing. Shirley says I have headphones on. Yeah, alter system shutdown. Oh, that's true. Oh, you're right. Drop table employees. Oh, I totally should have thought of that. That's really good. Chris Stiles came up with the same thing. Man, that would have been so smart. So in here, he's added a column for a lock escalation description. Totally get it. Makes sense. Looks like he's doing that for a temp table too. And then spend a lot of time shouting at her. The only thing I use Alexa for is I ask for the weather, and I'll ask for the weather in different cities. The places I always ask for are Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, Reykjavik, Iceland, Telluride, Colorado, and the cities where my parents live, just because I'm curious. Yes, like yes, I would go all the time. I'd be like, play such and such song from Jimmy Buffett, and she'd be like, I don't have that in my catalog. Here's a radio station based on that song. I'm like, oh, great. Jeopardy's good. Also, dad jokes. You can say, Alexa, tell me a dad joke. Alexa, tell me a your mama joke. And for a while, the yo mama jokes were real yo mama jokes. And today they're not. They got politically correct now. I'm like, oh, now it's like, your mother's so charming that. I'm like, oh, come on, really. It got, in terms of how hot it got here, I want to say it was 91. I want to say it got 91 degrees here. I wasn't really paying attention. And in the morning, it's already 75. Don't let the sweatshirt fool you. Just because I have my air conditioner turned down as low as it'll go, just to make sure that it will keep up during the day. Because we're in the morning side of the sun, we get a ton of sun in the morning, and we're in one of those LEED platinum buildings where the air conditioners aren't really very good, and you can't open the windows because it's sealed. So I'm like, so that just leads me to running the AC 24/7 on hot days. Thanks. Golf clap. So let's see here. So this is really where the pull request gets interesting, where he says, if the lock escalation attempts are equals 0, then it says lock waits. Otherwise, if there weren't any lock waits, he also checks to see if lock escalation has been disabled. This is where it's really brilliant, because this tells you that SQL Server didn't bother. If you just saw the 0, you'd think that SQL Server never tried to escalate locks, when in reality, he might have tried, but it's just disabled. So that's absolutely fantastic. I love it. Scanning down through the rest of these. Oh, Kurt says he's only 75 miles north of me. It's amazing how big of a difference 20 miles makes, too. Like 20 miles inland is in towards the desert. It's like 20 degrees hotter than here. Okay, so the rest of it looks outer apply lock escalation. Whenever somebody adds a new table or a new diagnostic view, I always want to make sure that it's something that's supported in all versions of SQL Server that we support. We're like 2008 and forward. So that's cool, and I don't think we're going to have any problems with Azure or SQL DB or anything like that. There are no cross-database queries in Azure SQL DB. Dag nabbit. I don't know if Azure SQL DB works cross-database. I don't know if SP Blitz Index works cross-database right now. Oh, okay. I think it works okay in Azure. I think because we already have. Oh yeah. Look up there. So. Look up there. How appropriate is that for a streamer to say, look up? No, seriously, there's something above you. It's coming from behind you. The call's coming from inside the house. Up there. Pull my finger virtually. This is going to be an interesting webcast. Look, I had 3 espressos. I warned you. I told you I sort of implied that this was coming. Up there, up top, it has join quote name. It already has quote name database name, so I'm not worried at all about adding this. So it's already taken care of, so that's good. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's lock escalation. Oh, I'm too easily amused. Looking at the rest of this all looks good. The other thing that I love about this pull request is that it doesn't change the output columns. As soon as you start changing the output columns, that's also a world of hurt. So I like the looks of this a lot. I'm going to go look at the original file and then go get the raw version of it, copy paste. Well, it's your afternoon too, Surly Dev. That's part of it. And Surly Dev, I should talk to you during the breaks too. I'm tempted to talk to whoever does the featured chat thing and contract them to build something, because I have an idea for just extensions of it. I just want to build an extension of it. I don't want to build it. I want to pay somebody else to build it, because Lord knows that I'm not doing anything like that. Okay, so we've got the new SP Blitz Index. Let's first just go run SP Blitz Index and make sure it does not explode. Let's go over the Stack Overflow database, SP Blitz Index. We'll just run it as is and just make sure it doesn't explode, because sometimes pull requests just flat out explode. Next, I'm going to need to trigger lock escalations. So how are we going to go about doing that? First, let's start a new query. Let's say begin tran, update DBO users. Jackie says, do you have to put N even if none of the characters are Unicode? No, SQL Server's pretty good about implicitly converting a non-Unicode string without the n up to nvarchar, but you just want to be really careful when you're concatenating strings. When you're assembling multiple strings together into one, you don't want to mix Unicode and non-Unicode. If you mix Unicode and non-Unicode, you can end up with some truncation behavior. So update users. Let's see what indexes we have on the users table first. Table name equals users. Let's go see what indexes we have. Okay, good. We have an index on reputation. That's perfect for this. So we'll say update users. Set last access date equals get date. Get a date. That's a new function. I haven't thought about that. Where reputation equals 2. Go. So let's start a transaction and we'll go through and look to see what locks we have. When that finishes, let's pop over to oh, don't, there were too many rows. There were more rows than the 5,000 row. You and me both. I got all the wrong ones. Marat says, will there be subtitles? Only if you can type and keep up with me. So unfortunately, no. So that didn't work because I went over the 5,000 row lock escalation thing, so I need to roll that back. And let's go see how many users are affected by maybe reputation equals 300, just to pick a number. Let's try that. 866 rows affected. All right, so that shouldn't have hit the lock escalation threshold, so we still should be doing row level locking here. Let's go find out. Let's say spblitz index table name equals users. Actually, that's not where I wanted to go. I wanted to go sp who is active get locks equals 1. So SP who is active is a legendary stored procedure originally written by Adam Mechanic, has all kinds of cool functions or parameters above and beyond the defaults. One of the things that you can do is you can get the locks that are being held by a session. So I'm going to go over and look at the locks that are being held by this session, and you can see that on the keys, we have a number of exclusive locks. We're locking like 1,700 keys on an index, 866 keys on a primary key, and so forth. But we don't have exclusive locks on the entire table yet. See this row right here that says object mode IX? That means we have an intent exclusive lock on that object. We haven't escalated the lock all the way to the table level yet. So let's trigger lock escalation by over in our update window. Over in our update window, when we originally updated 866 rows, let's go ahead and update some more. Let's say update where reputation equals 2. And I haven't committed or rolled back yet, but I locked another 9,000 rows. Now let's see what we get for our locks now. I'm looking again at SP who is active. I'm running over here and dun dun dun. Now I have an exclusive lock on the entire object. Sweet. So this should have escalated my lock. Let's go ahead and commit that. Commit. And I'm going to be brutally honest. I don't actually know where that output that the new pull request. I don't know where that output's going to show up. So let's say table name equals users, and let's see if we can see it inside of the. Oh yes. Oh well, this is actually kind of cool. I wasn't expecting to see that many. It's kind of funny that we had that many lock escalation attempts. Yeah, I can't understand why there wouldn't be subtitles on this webcast. So actual escalations equals 2. All right, now let's go disable lock escalation on that table. To do that, we're going to have to Google, because I'll be damned if I remember how that thing works. So let's say SQL Server disable lock escalation. And let's see. Altering lock escalation. Yep, sure. Matt asks a really good question. Why would you want to disable lock escalation? So the reason why you would want to disable lock escalation is, let's say that you did lots of changes on a table that were in, say that you changed 5, 10, 15,000 rows at a time, and you wanted to make sure that SQL Server never escalated the lock to the entire table level, and you didn't want to hassle with putting row lock hints in your code. That would fix it. You could make a code level change to just stop queries from keeping or hitting the 5,000 lock escalation point where it pops up to a table level lock. Do I ever do that? No, I've seriously never done that my entire life as far back as I can remember, because the problem is you're still going to probably end up with deadlocks. And then if you've disabled lock escalation, now you're just dealing with a really painful deadlock as you roll back a 100,000 row change single threaded. Jan says, what's the difference between SP who is active and SP blitz who? They just have slightly different features. So for example, SP who is active has that get locks thing. We don't have that in SP blitz who. SP blitz who has easier ways to see memory grant and parallelism issues than SP who is active. So I end up using different ones depending on which one I want to troubleshoot. If you're not a full-time geek like me where you don't have to do anything but troubleshoot other people's problems with SQL Server, you could really start with either of those and you'll be fine for like 90% of the situations out there. Okay. So let's go disable lock escalation. Oh my God, they have a stored procedure to do that? I don't really want a whole stored procedure to do that. Kudos to them, to Eli, for doing that. That's kind of nifty, but I don't want to go quite that heavy. Prevent lock escalation on indexed views. That's kind of interesting. I really just want something simple to how do I disable lock escalation. Oh, hey, Pythian. It was right up at the top, and I didn't even see the dang thing. Trace flags. No, okay, all right, here we go. Alter table. Alter table set lock escalation disable. There we go. Drop table says every time I do a SQL search for some SQL syntax, the links are already purple. Yeah, and also they usually come up with SQLauthority.com for me, and they're already purple, and I keep going back to the same post because I can't remember how any of this stuff works. So let's copy, and then let's come back over here to this, and well, that's great. I copied the wrong thing. Either that or, no, it's got this right here. Copy. And then, are they screwing with copy paste in JavaScript? Okay, no. I just am not coordinated. Alter table, DBO users, set, lock escalation equals disable. And let's see what happens. Go. Execute. Commands completed successfully. Yay! Now let's try SP Blitz Index again, and let's see what happens. Hi, Caroline. Welcome to the webcast. I don't think this is really what we... Well, no. Well, maybe. Let's go see what it has. Hey, okay. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the disable in all caps. I would yell to simulate all caps in here, but y'all are a polite audience. Also, I would peek my microphone and you wouldn't hear anything anyway, so I can pretend. Lock escalation is disabled. So I like it. I don't really like the all caps. I also just kind of want is disabled instead of disable. So let's make a really small tweak there over on the source code. So let's say, come back over here and we'll edit it. We'll go back over to the diff and edit the file. And if I was really smart, I would have looked at the row number back on the diff. So here's the diff again. What I'm looking for is where it's all caps disabled. Okay, so it looks like line 455 is the one that I'm going to change. 455. Are there any others? Actually, here's the one I want. It's 497. It looks like this is what I need to say is 497. So 497, anything else? That might be the only one. All right, let's try that, 497. Edit the file, go down to line 497. God, I love GitHub, it's just amazing. 495. And here's where we are. So lock escalation disable. And instead I'm just going to say is disabled. Although it's kind of odd. I don't remember if we saw a period. I don't remember seeing a period over in our output. Oh, it was. It was there. I just wasn't paying attention. You know what that means? I need more coffee. Okay, so we've got lock escalation is disabled. I'm just going to go down and put SP Blitz index, tweaking lock escalation wording, changing disable to is disabled. Otherwise, great. Commit. And then let's accept the pull request. Review changes. Looks great. Thanks for the pull request. Merged into the dev branch. Will be in the September release. Yes, I did just have to look at my calendar to see what month we're in. Along with credit to you in the release notes. Highlight everything, copy, approve, submit, and then come back, merge, confirm. There are a lot of clicks in the GitHub UI. That's the only thing that I don't like, is it sometimes takes a little bit while to go through those. So that was, did I link the issue to it? I didn't link the issue. Let me go link that. There we go. So it's now there. Let's go click over on the issue and close that. It is now in the September release. And go way down to the bottom. And there we go. I also really like how you did this, adding the column to the temp table and not modifying the output tables. Good job. Close with a comment, and now whenever we make changes in the first responder kit, I also have to update the release notes. So we'll do a quick change in the release notes there. So this is SP Blitz index changes. So, oh, that's right. So I actually already added this yesterday because I knew I was going to be doing this pull request. I almost did it this weekend. So that is in the release notes there. I don't even have to change anything. We are done with the first pull request of the day. Woo! So not bad, like ballpark 20 minutes in order to pull that off. I should give a quick shout out to this week's sponsor. So this week's sponsor is Idera. They have a new webcast, Idera Live 2020, where it's kind of like a SQL Saturday, and it's all under the Idera banner, all totally free online. And they put together an interesting lineup for database administrators. Not sometimes you'll see webcasts and they're like all cloud or all dev, or this is very production DBA friendly. So if you're a production database administrator, you can go register over at brentozar.com/go/Idera Live. I want to say, don't quote me, but I want to say it's September 16th. So it's only like 10 days from now. So you may want to register sooner rather than later. Deepak says hi. Howdy on YouTube there.